So 12 months ago today, I left for my first Australian New South Wales Outback trip. Although some of you might have seen the highlights of the trip, but some of my mates actually really want to know a bit more details about what happened. So here I am making the vlog for you. If you think about Australia, you probably would think about Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, all those big Australian cities. But have you heard of Broken Hill? That's where BHP Billiton started. Have you heard of Silverton? It's a mining town. Many movies actually shot in Silverton, like Australia and the legendary Mad Max. And have you heard about Mungo National Park? I haven't traveled the world yet, so I cannot really compare Mungo National Park with any other parts of the world. But for Australia alone, it's an amazing place. It's very different, very historical, very outback. So living in Sydney, I knew that I won't be able to experience all of those unless if I'm willing to take the trip as a road trip. So I made a plan. I might have to go by myself. Did I worry? Did I concern? To an extent, yes, man, I'm going by myself. Some of the places that I'm going to, it's gonna be like really remote. There's no receptions. You probably won't see anyone at all. When I tell my mates and hey man, I'm just gonna go to this Outback trip by myself. And one of my mates even referenced the movie Wolf Creek. I'm not sure if you've seen that. It's basically a story about the backpackers going to the Outback and got kidnapped, and it's like a horror movie, pretty scary, set in Australia Outback. But I thought, okay, if I plan it well, that can then minimize the risk and I can still go. And my thirst of adventure, photography, all of those outweighed and outpowered all those negatives. So I go, I gotta go, I gotta make it happen. And just like one night before I left, one of my mates actually texts me and go, hey, I can actually go with you for the trip. But the only catch is, because he's in Melbourne, so I have to go to Melbourne to pick him up. It's kind of fun to have a mate with the same interests as you. So I was like, let's bring up the bromance. So I drove myself to Melbourne on that day. Guess where I am? Albury. After I don't know how many hours that I've been driving, maybe 4 hours, 5 hours. Surprisingly, very busy town. Surprise. I think they've got some Christmas things happening in the city, in the town. So here I am, enjoying my lunch, the KFC. Whew. Heaven. Next to the river, the Murray River. It's about 3.5 hours to go to Melbourne, and we're gonna off to the Outback tomorrow. Well, it's good that I've got a companionship, just in case something happened. Emergency or photographer's gone missing, made it to the news in not so good way. At least I've got someone to help me out. And as far as the preparations go, I have to self-sufficient. I have to be able to minimize the risk and manage myself in case something does happen. Number one is definitely water. You cannot go to this trip in the middle of the summer, 40+ degrees without water. And secondly is food. And thirdly, you got to make sure that your car is reliable. I have a recovery kit just in case my car's got stuck. It's a tire repair kit. Going through all those dirt roads, you need to reduce or increase your tire pressure accordingly. That's why I've got a tire inflator with me. The objective of the trips will be mainly about photography. So guess what I can't leave behind? A camera like this one. So I've got cameras, drone, lenses, can't forget a tripod as well, all those chargers for the cars, they're all ready to go. And to help me to find where potentially that I can camp, I use an app like Wikicamp. It's not sponsored, by the way. It's a great app, and it also gives me information about the petrol stations nearby. The whole trip, it's definitely more than 3,000 kilometers. It's essential that I know how far I need to drive to get into the next petrol station. camera bags. We got boxes. One box for the food stuff. Anything that goes into your tummy, we pack it in here. Anything that's not going to your tummy, like any gas bottles, ropes, recovery stuff, they're all gone into another box. There you go. And the ASCII, we got a lot of stuff at the top. The roof box at the top, 550 liters. So anything like the clothing, we've got guitar as well, picnic chairs, tents. We want to keep the good tidy. The rest of it, gone to the top. All right, and for emergency as well, we've got a personal locator beacon, which we really hope that we don't really need to use it. If you guys don't know what a personal locator beacon is, it's basically an equipment that if you activate the equipment, it will then send signals to, I think in Australia is in Canberra, letting you know that you're in this X location, you're in trouble. That way they can actually send some help to get you. And the first stop in the pipeline was Mildura. We actually left Melbourne a bit late. On our way to get there, we made a pit stop. I needed to go do number one. We pulled over and then get the business done, and we look up the sky and I go, whoo, look at the stars. And we go, man, this is a great place for astrophotography. And we basically pulled the car next to the train line. There's an old building structure. It's just like really cool composition. So we just muck around there, you know, pull some night photography, spend a good 2 to 3 hours in that spot alone. All this drive to Mildura that's meant to took us 6.5 hours, we got there 9 hours after, and we got there like close to 4 a.m. in the morning. And we just slept in a car, and I was so excited when I was greeted by the sunrise, my first sunrise ever in the Outback. This engine's got a bit of a reddish sand because it's in the Outback. It's called Perry Sand Hills. Alright, so I'm with this nuthead over here, still doing his work, working too bloody hard.
Welcome to New South Wales. So we had about, was it 8 hours drive?
Well, it was supposed to be 6.5 hours, but we stretched it to probably about 9 hours.
9 hours drive, and then I drove a bit there, but what, 20 minutes?
You drove about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So we're gonna head off, yeah? Oh yeah!
Want me to drive?
Yeah. Next location is, guess what? This is probably like the most epic locations during that trip. Entering Mungo National Park. Going through this dirt road for about 58 kilometers. It's gonna be so much fun. Mungo National Park used to be a lake 40,000 years ago, and it's all dried up now. And it's full of history. I've never seen anything like that in my entire life. I'm now walking to the walls of China. All those formation there that goes from that and all the way to the other end. They call it the Wall of China because it's so huge. The funny story about that is we went out the night before again shooting stars, doing the astrophotography, went to bed a bit late, and guess what happened when we woke up? It's like smack bang sunlight in the tent. So we're late, so definitely there's no sunrise on the day, so what a fail. But we still explore a little bit. There's a 70-kilometer loop track that you can actually drive around, all dirt roads. So we go, yeah, let's do that, and we go to Broken Hill after that. So off we went on that track, and then halfway on that track we go, man, there's another spot here where you can actually see the walls of China better. It's like closer to all those formation. It's just like more awesomer. And we go, we didn't see this spot yesterday, so what do we do now? Do you want to stay another night and just do the sunrise tomorrow? But we running out of food. Petrol, just in case if we need to let the car running for a little bit longer because it's like so hot, you know, we need the air corners for every now and then. We might not have enough petrol. It's a tough decision, but I want to stay. We haven't actually stayed in this place and done a sunrise in this spot. We missed this spot completely the day before. The closest town from Mungo National Park is called Pooncarie, and that's about 81 kilometers away. So off we went for the 70 kilometers trek, plus that 81 kilometers out to the town. Got some petrol, we got some foods, the meats, like they're all frozen by the way because it's like rural area. The logistics a bit hard to reach out there. Some of them even past the expiry date already, but it's still edible. We got those food, back in the car, back into the location, and then we just cooked there and just stayed overnight in the car. We didn't see anyone literally for probably close to 24 hours. Then after that, off we went to Broken Hill. Broken Hill is a big town. It's got one of the biggest coals that I've ever seen. And we just shopped there. It doesn't look like a town at all. And I went to that sculpture on a hill. The sunset was amazing there. So that was Christmas Eve. The campsite that I wanted to stay, apparently you have to book that first through the information center, and they closed early because it's like Christmas Eve. So we ended up having nowhere to stay, and there's a campsite here next to the race course. So you go, let's go there then. You know, that seems like the only place. We got there a bit late, and it's already dark because we went for the sunset shots. And next to the race course, the building looks pretty old, creepy, but interesting. You know, put it that way. So windy this morning. We're at the race course at Broken Hill. We stayed here last night, which is it's pretty good actually. $15. We slept in the car to fix things up, flat in the back. The morning in Broken Hill was so windy. Apparently the go is like windy most of the time in Broken Hill. The camping was really cheap, and it's got a hot shower as well, flush toilet. So easy peasy. We didn't end up setting the tent, we just like sleep in the car. And the next day we went to Silverton. That marks the furthest I have been from the coastal area in my entire life. Like the famous Silverton Hotel is closed, the Mad Max Museum is closed because it's Christmas Day. Yep, we should have known that. So we just like drove around, explored around, and then went back to Broken Hill. There's something much more to see in the town of Broken Hill because it's like Christmas Day, everything's closed unless if you want to stay there for another night. So we drove down to Cobar. It's already night time at that time. Almost hit a few kangaroos because they're really active during that sunset time. And yeah, we met at the Cobar. We just stayed, made some dinner there in a pit stop at the side of the road. And just another few hours to Dubbo, and off we went to Dubbo from there. Stayed overnight at the rest area. Went past Dubbo. So now we're at the Blue Mountains. It's about 30 degrees today. It's so cold. Coming from the Outback, about 40 plus. Whole trip took about a week and about 3,800 kilometers, so it's not bad. And we really enjoyed this trip. Hopefully you like this video, subscribe to my channel, whatever you want to do, you know what you got to do anyway. What really makes a difference, I really appreciate that. And if you live in Australia, even though if you want to come to Australia, I highly recommend you to check out the Outback and do some road trips. That's it guys, see you later.